Hello everybody, my name is Zoe Rebekah. Welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be super casual cup of Zoe. And today I got my Starbucks. A tall cold brew sweetened with some classic syrup. I don't really get milk in my coffee if it's iced coffee. If it's hot coffee, I add a little bit of almond milk, but if it's iced coffee, I typically don't add any milk. That's just the way I like it. So that's my Starbucks order, a tall cold brew sweetened with classic syrup. So if you guys want to try it out, like if you like coffee, then you know, try it out. It's super good. But anyway, so today's video is going to be a super casual video, kind of life updates and a deeply personal Q&A. I posted on my community tab asking if you guys had any deep personal questions, and I kind of wanted to film a video kind of talking about a couple additional life updates, and I kind of wanted to, you know, some people do mukbangs, some people do tea talks, and I do my cup of Zoe. So I just wanted to do just a super casual cup of Zoe where I talked about a couple life updates along with a Q&A of some deep personal questions that you guys had. So yes, without further ado, let's get into the video. So I'm gonna start with the questions, and at the end of the video I'm going to talk about a couple more things that I kind of just wanted to talk to you guys about, kind of talking about back to school and also talking about an exciting announcement that I have that might affect my YouTube schedule but is going to be really good for me. So I just need to find things that are good for me and good for my mental health and good for my mental clarity and sanity. So I had this opportunity and I took the opportunity, and it's a really good opportunity for me, so I'm going to get into that at the end, but let's start with the Q&A first. Emily Felton says, no offense, but how did, which by the way, thank you for your preface, but it's not offensive, I swear. How did you get depressed and when did you become negative about yourself? I love you so much, Zoe. Have a nice day. Bye. XOXO. Thank you, Emily. I love you too. How did I get depressed? Well, it's depression, so it's something that you always have, but it just develops and it ebbs and flows. So I believe that I've always had depression, but it didn't really come out until like middle school. I think the pivotal like turning point that I can think of is when I got in this really nasty falling out with my best friend at the time. I had been friends with her all throughout elementary school for like 6 or 7 years, and we had a really nasty falling out, and I remember that was, from if my memory serves me correctly, that was kind of the turning point. She was, I don't want to start drama with her or anything but like that, but like you can watch a video that I posted when it happened years ago. It was called like my Snapchat story explained why I'm depressed. When I look at it now, I feel like I look so ridiculous in the video because I definitely didn't fully in-depth explain how I was feeling and why I just made it seem like I was
depressed because I didn't get invited to a birthday party.
That's kind of how I came across, but that's not really what was happening. That was just kind of like the turning point where I didn't get invited to her birthday party, which sounds so ridiculous, but if you watch that video and if you know me personally, then you can, it's just a lot of little things that added together and that built up to that point. And then when I didn't get invited to the birthday party and when she lied to me about it and like posted about it on social media and stuff like that, that was just kind of like what made me snap into this deep state of depression. And I had no one, and I felt so lonely and isolated, and I just remember that was kind of the turning point that made me feel so depressed, and then it just kind of went downhill from there. I still see her around and it's kind of awkward because we never reconciled. She's kind of a so I'm kind of glad that I kind of got her out of my life, but like I said, I don't want to cause drama with her. But yeah, as far as I can remember, that's kind of what that was kind of the turning point. When did I feel so negative about myself? I've kind of always felt like that for as long as I can remember, at least. And obviously when you're depressed, part of depression is low self-esteem and self-hatred, and I honestly don't remember when I started developing those feelings, but I mean, there are certain things I am confident about, but which is actually another one of the these questions is Mess Zine. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that, but is there something you love about yourself? I had to do this exercise in therapy. I had to write down things that, like, positive qualities about myself. I wrote down that I was authentic and genuine. I was honest. What else did I write down? But I think that I'm authentic and genuine, which are kind of synonymous, and honest. I think that's the main thing that I am confident about, and I'm mostly confident about my videos. I still am really hard on myself about my videos. I still feel like they're not good enough for my own goddamn unrealistic standards, which I talked about in like a bunch of my videos, that I set my standards too high for myself, and then that makes it so that I'm always disappointed in myself. I don't know if anyone else can relate to that, but to an extent I am proud of myself for my videos. I think I'm a pretty hardworking person, even though it can be very hard to be strong and willful and hardworking because of barriers, mental barriers and physical barriers, because you guys, like I talked about, I've been having a lot of stomach problems and it's been hard to like move, and I have all of these barriers, but I still try to work hard, and I give myself credit for that, as hard as that is for me to admit honestly. But that answers that question, I think. And as far as knowing how long I've felt this way about myself, this self-hatred, I don't really remember how long I've been feeling that way, but I am still very deep in that mindset of self-hatred. But I am looking for a new therapist to try to help me cope with that and get through it and get out of that mindset. By the way, my hair is like this because I'm having a bad hair day, and I think I look so bad in ponytails. So how does it look? Guys, let me know. What year/month did you first say I hate myself? This question is kind of depressing and hard to talk about, but love you, Zoe. And Sophia Watson asked that. I don't remember. I really don't. It was probably a while ago. It was definitely a while ago. It was definitely years ago, so I don't really remember the first time I said I hate myself, but it is a frequent occurrence, unfortunately. But yeah, it can be hard to talk about, but I consider myself a pretty open person, pretty authentic person, so as hard as it is to talk about, I think it's important to talk about. And I love you too, Sophia. But the answer to the question is I don't really remember. Something you keep from your parents, Rosie XOXO asked me. Definitely how I'm feeling sometimes. On a regular basis, I think I hide my feelings from my parents, and how much I eat from my parents, because I guess, I don't know, I just don't want them to get mad at me or be worried about me or try to force me into things I don't want to do. I'm not gonna get super specific about what I mean by that, but something else I had from I don't think I had really anything else from my parents other than my feelings. Yeah. Paige the Ghost says, please remember that you are beautiful and funny and smart, and we all love and care for you. Aw, thank you so much, Paige. I love and care for you too. Also, what's the worst when you get when you're what's the worst you get when you're depressed?
Illiterate.
I guess like the severity level, you mean? I guess the worst I get when I'm depressed is I'm in my bed, I don't get dressed or leave the house all day, and I just lay in my bed, I don't get dressed, I don't eat, I just cry, I don't want to talk to anyone, I don't want to do anything. Yeah, I guess I don't want to shower, I just don't care about myself, and I just have this, I'm just filled with hatred about everyone, everything, especially myself. I think that's the worst I get when I get depressed. Dakota Lovell, I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. How old were you when you first became body negative? I think I was 12, and then for a while I was fine, and then I didn't become so engulfed in it until I was like 15, when I was recovering from ARFID, my first eating disorder. So when I was like 12, I kind of stopped eating that way because I was feeling so body negative, and when I was suffering with ARFID, I was eating really unhealthy food. If you don't know what ARFID is, it's avoidant restricted food intake disorder. So I was only eating a select few amount of foods. I was eating like 5 foods and they were all crap. My parents called it the kids menu diet, and it was like chicken fingers, french fries, pizza, pasta, a lot of chicken. This is before I was vegan, obviously, and I'm a vegan now, and I have been for years. I actually got over ARFID by becoming a vegan, but I started feeling body conscious, and then I was like, I really needed to change my diet, and then I went vegan and I felt really good about myself because I knew I was eating really healthy, and I was like on a really healthy vegan diet. Like, it was all whole foods, and this was like when Freely, the banana girl, and all those high carb low fat vegans were prominent, and I was like, oh, I gotta eat like them because they're so skinny. And I did feel better about myself, but then I got scared of fat, and then I was really, and that kind of turned into disordered eating, where I was really scared of fat and I was eating high carb low fat. And then I was fine for a while, and like I was eating a balanced diet. I was eating some junk food, some vegan junk food, but also eating healthy at the same time, and I had a really good balance and I was at a really good weight. And then I developed this anorexia, and I started fearing fat again and fearing a lot of different kinds of foods. I don't know what the turning point of that was. I think it was last summer. I was doing this film program and I just didn't eat lunch during our lunch breaks, and genuinely I just wasn't hungry, and I just didn't eat. I just didn't eat a lot, and then it just kind of suppressed my appetite, and it got to the point where I had lost a lot of weight, and then I didn't really develop like food rules and behaviors and rituals until I went inpatient, because they had to put me inpatient because my BMI was so low, dangerously low. And then I kind of picked up on these things from the other patients, and then I started developing like these food rules and like the anorexia thought pattern. And then I honestly, before that, a little bit before I went inpatient, because when the doctor told me like, you have an eating disorder and your weight is too low, I was scared to gain the weight because I just didn't want to gain weight. I was scared of it because I'm anorexic. And then I developed these like patterns and rituals and behaviors when I was inpatient, and then I'm still struggling with those today. But I just went off on a total tangent. But so to answer your question, when I was like 12, when I was recovering from ARFID, is when I started feeling body conscious and negative about my body. And then I was okay for a while, and then I was at my highest weight, honestly. I'm not gonna say the number, but when I was at my highest weight, I started feeling a little bit conscious about my body, but it wasn't anything, like I wasn't restricting or anything, I just was feeling kind of negative body image. And then when I lost a lot of weight, I was scared to gain it because I didn't want my body to change, and I was still seeing myself as not skinny enough, and I didn't want to gain the weight. And then obviously once I was inpatient and I had to gain a lot of weight at once, I would just stare at myself in the bathroom in the hospital and just cry and just hate my body so much because it was changing, and change tends to scare me and make me feel uncomfortable, especially when it comes to my body. Physically and mentally, I felt uncomfortable, and I still do. I still feel physically and mentally uncomfortable in my body quite often when it comes to my recovery and food and in general. Okay, this girl asked not to post her name on the video, but she says, can you share some tips on self-harm or share your experience? My experience, I have struggled with it. I haven't done it in a while, which I'm proud of myself about. I mean, not that I have access to the materials to, honestly, but I haven't done it in a while, which is really good. I've wanted to, I've thought about it recently, but I haven't done anything. I first did it when I was in a PHP program in like January 2018. I was struggling with my suicidal ideation, and I was really depressed, and I tried to commit suicide, and which is really hard for me to even say, but I posted a video about it called The Truth, and a lot of people found me through there. And so after that, I wound up in a PHP program, which is a partial hospitalization program, and I didn't start self-harming until I was in there because I got ideas from the other patients. So that's why there are pros and cons to all of these hospitalization programs, you know, because they can help you, but they can also give you ideas. So people were talking about self-harm, and so I decided to try it out myself because I heard their reasonings behind it, and I'm like, maybe it'll help me, which it didn't help. It made it worse. But it kind of is one of those things that can become an addiction, and I became addicted to it, and I just kept doing it, and my parents were mad at me. They got mad at me. I don't know if anyone else can relate to that, but maybe your parents get mad at you when you harm yourself, or when you feel depression or having an anxiety attack. I think they're just frustrated that they feel like they can't control it, and they feel like they're out of control, and they don't want to watch their child go through that, or whatever their reasonings might be for feeling frustration. They kind of don't know how to approach it, and then they approach it that way. I feel like that's my experience. My parents are just frustrated and they don't know what to do, and they feel out of control. And then I've kind of been on and off with it. So for a while I was doing it really regularly for like a couple months, and then I kind of was discovering other coping strategies, and I was okay with it. And then since then it's just kind of been really sporadically, really spread out. It doesn't happen on a regular basis. It only happens during extreme situations where I feel like I feel like I deserve it. Why do I feel like I'm gonna cry? I only do it, I sound like I'm gonna cry, but I'm fine. I feel like this happens a lot when I film videos. I always feel like I sound like I'm gonna cry, but I'm fine, especially when I talk about this stuff. But it happens very occasionally now, and obviously if you guys are struggling with it, please reach out to me, reach out to a loved one, reach out to a professional. I'll leave some resources in the description box, and you can always email me. Jude Confosh says, do you have any advice about self-hatred, depression, and eating disorders? Because I'm struggling with all of those right now, and it's the worst. Also, I'm getting my cartilage pierced. Love you. Well, first of all, you will look fabulous with that cartilage piercing, and I love you too. My self-hatred video, actually, you can go watch that. I'll leave it in a card. Is it on this side or this side? I think it's on this side, but I'll leave it in a card, and I'll leave it in the description box so you guys can go check out my whole video. I talked about how to cope with self-hatred, so I'm not going to get super into that because I have a whole video on it. Depression I talk about all the time. Right now I probably shouldn't give I probably wouldn't give the best advice because I'm kind of letting my depression win right now. But stuff that's helped me in the past is don't wallow in self-pity. I know how hard that is. I know that's much easier said than done, but get out of the house. Please do not sit around and mope. Get out of the motherfucking house, even if it's to take a walk, take a shower. I know it can be hard when you are feeling so depressed. Take a shower. That always helps me. If you are medically able to, exercise, because that produces endorphins. Make sure that you're nourishing yourself properly. You make sure you're eating enough, because when you're undernourished, you're gonna feel depression. I know that firsthand, and I know that you're struggling with an eating disorder yourself, and you can watch all of my videos about food challenges and my eating disorder story. I'll leave a playlist in the description box and in a card. I'll leave a playlist of some of my videos about my eating disorder. But right now, again, probably wouldn't give the best advice because I'm really struggling to cope with mine. But if it gets to a point where it's necessary, please go inpatient or residential or PHP or IOP or whatever level is appropriate for you. Talk to your doctor, talk to your parents, talk to your therapist. Definitely get a therapist if you don't have one, and definitely get a dietitian if you can, because those are all and a psychiatrist if you need medication. Those are all super important parts of your treatment team. My treatment team is my psychiatrist. I'm still looking for a therapist, my dietitian, my PCP, and my parents. Because those are all super important parts of your treatment team, and you need a treatment team because it's really hard to do on your own. It's almost impossible to do on your own, and it's just not realistic. I mean, it's possible, I guess. I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's not realistic, and it's just not the best thing to do. So definitely get a treatment team if you don't have one already, and I just don't have the best advice right now because I'm super engulfed in mine right now, but just make sure that you're out and about and you don't wallow in self-pity, and just think about all the effects of all the positives, and write a pro and con list to recovery, and debunk eating disorder thoughts out loud. I've talked about this before, but if you're having eating disorder thoughts, maybe say it out loud in the mirror and kind of debunk it, rebuke it, and that always helps. And just write down your values, make a bucket list, because if you continue to feed, no pun intended, if you continue to feed this eating disorder, then you're never going to be able to achieve your goals. And when you have these goals staring at you, you're going to want to achieve them, and you know that if you keep feeding this eating disorder, then you're never going to be able to achieve those goals. So think about all the opportunities you have in life, and the fact that if you continue to feed this eating disorder, you're never going to be able to take advantage of any of those opportunities. So just think about super deep philosophical things like that. Chloe Jane asked, do you have any way for your fans and subscribers to contact you? Like I said, Discord in the description box, Callmart, you can call me on Callmart, also in the description box, and you can email me at zoerebekah7@gmail.com. She also asked, if you could change one day of your life or predict one day of your future, which one would it be and what would you do? I wouldn't change any days of my life, because I feel like I've learned and grew. I've learned and I've grown throughout my mistakes in the past, and I don't know, but I would rather plan or predict one day of my future. And what would I do? I would definitely go to college, and sorry, my camera stopped recording because I ran out of storage, but anyway, I would definitely go to college and major in film, minor in psychology. I've talked about this before. What else would I do? I would move to either England or California, because those are the two major places that I really, really, really want to go to and live. I would take advantage of all opportunities I have. I would get a really nice apartment. I would get a really good job. I don't know. I would find a really nice man, really cute guy. Yeah, so that's what I would do. So those are all the questions I have, and now I'm going to talk about a couple additional things going on in my life. So let's spill the tea. Let's talk about what is coming up for me. I got a job at a supermarket called Wegmans, and I'm going to be a cashier. So I applied for a job, and because I was really bored and I was starting to feel really, really depressed again, because I felt like I had no purpose, and I felt like I was just super bored, and I was super just unmotivated, and I wasn't doing anything. I've just been all summer so far, I've just been moping around at home in my fucking pajamas watching movies and doing nothing. So I applied for a job, and I got the job, and I'm going to be starting soon, and I don't know how that's going to affect my YouTube schedule, but I think this is going to be really good for me. So like I said, I don't know how that's going to affect my YouTube, but yeah, I just thought I would give you guys that update and say that I did get a job. I got my first cashier job, and I'm super excited to start. And then another announcement I want to talk about school, and I'm going to officially announce that I will be doing cyber school this upcoming year in the fall. For my junior year of high school, I'm going to be doing cyber school, and so I'm able to work shifts during the day at work because I'm doing cyber school now, and this will hopefully give me more time to focus on YouTube and my job. And there's just a lot of reasons why I'm doing this. If you guys want me to do a whole video about why I'm doing this, then let me know if you guys are super curious, because there's a lot of reasons why that went into this decision that my parents and I made. But there's just so much anxiety I have about school, and I feel like I don't eat a lot when I'm in school, and so I'll go 8 hours without eating, and it's really bad. And so that's part of it. And I have panic attacks in the bathroom at school. I feel super lonely, super isolated. I have no friends at school, and it's just, I've gotten bullied, and it's just been a really shitty situation. And my school is a shit show. If you go to school with me, or you know where I go to school, then you know my school is a shit show. We had 4 within a year, and it's just, and they don't know how to handle it. And so there's just a lot of reasons that went into this decision. So those are my 2 upcoming announcements. I will be doing cyber school this upcoming year, and I just got a job at a grocery store as a cashier, as a part-time cashier. So yeah, I will let you guys in on, I will keep you guys updated on those two things, and hopefully I was able to answer some of your questions. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video here. I'm gonna end my coffee talk here. So yes, if you guys like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, and share this video on my channel with those you think might be interested, and leave me comments on my community post. Join the Discord, link to the description box. Call me at Calmar, also link to the description box. Tweet me at Zoe Rebekah 7 and email me if you need anything. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Love you. Bye.